Good morning friends. Today we will be starting a new topic, that is the soils of India. So it is very important topic when it comes to the NABARD exam or when it comes with respect to the AFO Agriculture Field Officers exam of the IBPS. Now the ICAR has classified Indian soils into 8 different groups. 8 different groups. And those soils are, first it is the alluvial soil, then we have the black soil, then we have red soil, then we have lateritic soil, then we have forest and mountain soil, then we have arid and desert soil, then we have saline and alkaline soil, and the last it is the peat and marshy soil, Now based on the different geological structures, its porosity, its texture, these are the 8 groups of the soils which are been given by the ICAR. Now we will be discussing this different groups of the soil one by one. But before moving ahead, let me ask you one question. Suppose tomorrow morning when you wake up and you hear the headline, you read the headline that the alluvial soil of India has completely disappeared. So what will be its impact? So will the Punjab be the largest food grain producing state of India? Will the Uttar Pradesh be the largest wheat producing state of India? Or the Bihar, whose economy is dependent on the agriculture, will be the same at the same stage? The answer will be no. Why? Just see here, the figures tells us that. So nearly 40% of the people of India, their livelihood is completely dependent on this alluvial soil. Why? Basically because this alluvial soil covers nearly 15 lakh square kilometer of area. So India's total area is been covered by this particularly alluvial soil, that is nearly 15 lakh square kilometer, which is nothing but the 46%. That means alluvial soil is the largest soil group of India. So we will be discussing today about the alluvial soil, its characteristics, what are its various features, what are the chemical composition and which crops are being grown and where it is been found. So first we will be discuss about the characteristics of this alluvial soil. So when we say the alluvial soil, what does actually the alluvial soil mean? So it is nothing but the alluvium which has been brought by the rivers. So the rivers, they bring the soil, or we can say sediments, from the different parts from where it has been flowing. So say for example, if you take the example of the rivers, the Himalayan rivers which are originating from the Himalayas, when they are flowing from this particularly, we can say the slope, they are eroding the rocks, and when they come on the foothills, they start to reduce, their speed reduces, and because of that what happens? Because of that, whatever the sediments which are been brought by these rivers, they will get deposited in this plain region. And that is how this particularly soil is formed, and that is called as the alluvial soil. Now if you see here, the rock, the parent material of this particularly soil, it is present where? It is present in the Himalayas. But the soil formed, it is somewhere here. And basically because of that, these soils remain immature. Why they are immature? Because they do not have a well developed profile. So whatever the profile, soil profile we have, the different layers of the soil profile, the A layer, B layer, C layer, all these basically are majorly absent. So it is not completely absent, but at least this A layer or the B layer is majorly absent in this type of soil, or it is not well developed. And the parent material, it is present in the Himalayas. That is the reason why it is called as an immature soil. But these soils are loamy in nature. They are loamy. Yes, of course they will be having the white characteristics in this, but again they are loamy in nature. So what do you understand by loamy? When the percentage of sand plus silt plus clay, it is in equal proportion, it is called as a loamy soil. It's called as a loamy soil. So basically because of that, this soil is very porous. It is porous, we can say, as well as it is fertile. It is fertile. Now why fertile? Only because it is loamy? No. But every year what happens? This soil is being renewed. That means every year the sediments are being brought by these particularly rivers and they are deposited where? In the floodplains of rivers, isn't it? Because of that, every year the sediments are being added to the soil, are being added to this particularly regions, and because of that these soils are completely fertile, we can say, isn't it? So as the soils of porous, the soils are porous, that means they will be having a good drainage system. So drainage will be very, very proper. So basically because of that, most of the times this soil, it won't be waterlogged. Why? Because the drainage is proper. So whenever the rainfall, you are giving the heavy, when you are getting the heavy rainfall, the water what you have, it will get drained away because of this porosity. But as the clay percentage is also optimum, we can say the water holding capacity of the soil is also good. And that is the reason why you can grow the diverse types of crops in this region. Understanding the points? Yes. Now, coming to the chemical properties of this soil. These soils are lacking in nitrogen. So what we can say? Lack nitrogen. So first important thing is the nitrogen is lacking in this soil. But you will be having adequate amount of P and K, potash and phosphorus, plus organic matter is also in the sufficient amount, remember. Okay. But again, if you see with respect to the iron oxide and the lime, iron, Fe, we will write Fe and lime, they are varying in nature. They will be varying. So you can see in some regions you will be having a good amount of iron and the lime. In some areas you will be having less amount of iron and lime. But if you see with respect to this, potassium, phosphorus, organic matter or acids or alkali or the salts, it will be in moderate amount, but nitrogen will be lacking in this particularly soils. Okay. Now coming to the distribution of this soil, distribution. So the major area where you can find this type of soil is the Indo-Gangetic plain. Indo-Ganga and Brahmaputra plain. Brahmaputra plain. So you can see it is the Brahmaputra plain. So why? Basically because if you see the Indus river, Ganga river and Brahmaputra river, they originate from the Himalayan region, that is from the Tibet region. Ganga from the Gangotri, which is completely in India. But if you see the Indus and the Brahmaputra, they are originating from the Tibet region. That means they are originating from the Himalayan region, and because of that they are flowing completely throughout the year. These rivers, they are perennial in nature. And because of that, throughout the year they are bringing the sediments from the Himalayan regions and they are deposited on the plain region. So this process has continuously taken place from millions of years, and that is how the Indo-Ganga-Brahmaputra plains have been formed. So this is one of the most important regions of the world. It is one of the most fertile regions of the world. So it is the first region. Second, we can say the flood plains or the valleys of Narmada, Tapi, Mahanadi. After that, it is the coastal plains of India. So if you see the coastal regions of India, so it may be the east coast or the west coast. Majorly on the eastern coast of India, majorly in the eastern coast of India, you can find this alluvial soils are present. Why these alluvial soils are present? Because they are formed because of the rivers, different rivers which are flowing. Say for example, here it is the Mahanadi river, here it is the Godavari river, here it is the Krishna river, here it is the Kaveri river, and of course there are different many rivers which are been flowing, which are minor or small rivers are flowing towards this region. And when they are draining into the Bay of Bengal, they are forming the very fertile deltas of the world, again we can see. So basically because of that, because of these rivers, the deltas are being formed, and these deltas are nothing but they are the fertile soils again. And so you can find this alluvial soil in the majorly in the eastern coastal plains of India. This soil again you can find in some parts of the Western Ghats or the western coastal plains, again you have alluvial soil, but compared to the eastern coastal plains, the western coastal plains, they are narrow. Here you can see the wider plains, here you can see the narrow plains which are on the western coast. Then you can find certain plains are there in the Gujarat region. Yes. So majorly these are the regions where you can find the alluvial soil. After that, if you see, as they are fertile soils, as they are renewed every year and their water holding capacity is good, fertility status is good, their porosity is good, that is the reason why you can grow the varied crops in this region. The various crops can be grown in this region. So you can grow rice, wheat, sugarcane, then you can grow the cotton, you can grow jute, you can grow vegetables, then you can grow again oilseeds, etc. Now if you see, water holding capacity is good, that is the reason the rice, that is the reason the sugarcane, that is the reason cotton can be grown in this region. Is of course the cotton, it is majorly grown in the black cotton soil, but cotton can be grown again where the alluvial soil is present. So these are the crops which you can grow in a large scale in this alluvial soil. And because of that, we can see wherever the alluvial soil is been found, the productivity and the production, it is very great as compared to the other soils. Getting? Now if you see the geological division of alluvial soils, so we will see the geological divisions of the alluvial soil. So alluvial soils have been divided mostly in the Indo-Gangetic and Brahmaputra plains. These alluvial soils have been divided into 4 types. So first is the Bhabar, second is the Terai, third it is the Bhangar, and fourth it is the Khadar. These are the 4 geological divisions of the alluvial soil, mostly in the Indo-Ganga and Brahmaputra plains. So what does these 4 divisions mean? Now if you see, just we will draw a diagram, you will be understand easily. Suppose these are the Himalayas. These are the Himalayas. So when the rivers are flowing from the Himalayan region, from the top of the Himalayas, so because of this, their eroding power is very, very great. And so they bring the boulders, the stones, the pebbles, gravels on a huge number, and they will get deposited somewhere here. And as the size of this particularly rocks, it is very, very great. When they are being deposited, what will happen? You will be getting certain holes or the gaps will be present between the different rocks when they are being deposited at a single place. And so here the rivers will start to flow from this gap, and the river will disappear in this region. It will completely disappear. Why? Basically because here the different rocks are present. We can say you have this different pebbles, gravels, the size of the particles are very great, and so the river starts to flow from this particularly below surface. So you cannot see the river on the surface here, and this region it is called as a bhabar. It is called as a bhabar, and basically because of that this region is not suitable for agriculture. So you cannot cultivate the crops because of this reason. So even though the forest or the trees, if they have been growing, they will be very sparse trees will be there, or very less amount of trees will be there, which have the deep root system. That's it. So you won't be able to see the forest also here. Luxuriant vegetation is also absent in this region. But if you go beyond this particularly bhabar, so what happens? The sediment size starts to decrease. So sediment size starts to decrease, we can say. The size of the sediment has been decreased. And so this river starts to re-emerge on the surface. On the surface. As the sediment size is smaller, so this river, it starts to flow on the surface, and because of that, here you can see the marshy conditions. Here it is the marshy conditions now. Marshy conditions. And after that, as the river is coming up, it is called as a Terai region. Terai belt. Why? Terai. If you translate in the Hindi, Terai, which is swing, coming again. So it is called as a Terai region. As the water availability is good, because of that you will be getting the good vegetation. But because the water availability was greater in this region, large amount of water was present, because of that this region has been converted to the agriculture land. So you can see the crops like rice and sugarcane is grown here. Why? Because the availability of water is huge because of that. So it is a marshy region, so rice can be grown properly. And if you see the Kala Namak, one of the best variety of the rice which is grown in this region, it is called as a Kala Namak variety. Kala Namak, which is grown in the Terai region of India and Nepal, which has got the GI tag in India. So it is a Kala Namak rice which is important, basically which has been recommended for the diabetic patient. Why? Because of the low glycemic index. So here the rice has been grown. After that, the two regions which is called as a Bhangar and the Khadar. Bhangar and the Khadar. So where these are the regions? Suppose now it is a flood plain of the river. Just imagine the river is flowing like this. It is a cross section of the river, and these are the flood plains. Flood plains. So every year the floods will occur. Every year the water will go outside of this particularly river, and it will start to deposit the sediments here completely. Sediments will be deposited. These are called as the flood plains. But over the period of time, what can happen? The river starts to move down, and these regions, they remain as a terrace. So over the period of time, we can see this river, it becomes like this. So here it is the remains as the alluvial soil, but which is the older soil. Now it is the older soil. So because of that, you can see this is the Bhangar. Bhangar, old alluvial soil. And as it is an old alluvial soil, now the sedimentation doesn't take place in this region. Why? The river has come to this level, and the flood water cannot reach this region. So it is called as a Bhangar, and where you can see the calcareous deposits. Because of the evaporation, the salts will get deposited on the surface of the soil, and because of that, what you can get? You can get the calcareous deposits here. You can get the calcareous deposits. That is one of the most important feature of the Bhangar. And which is Bhangar? Again translated into Hindi, it will become Bhangar, just like the Bhangar. So it is the old alluvial soil. But now, when the flood water increases, you will be getting the sedimentation here. So every year the sedimentation takes place in this region. So these regions are Khadar. It is called as a Khadar. Khadar. the most important region where the fertility status is been renewed every year. The deposition starts every year. So these are the geological divisions of the alluvial soil. I guess you have understood the topic, you have understood the alluvial soil. Okay, thank you.